My husband, who had refused to share my bed for 3 years, tonight handed me a ruler. He knelt before the bed and struck the most theatrical pose imaginable. Your Highness, please hit me. I looked at him coldly. It's my imperial brother he's in love with. What kind of fit is he throwing right now? I'd only found out about this secret a short while ago. A few days earlier, after he refused to share my bed yet again, I was feeling restless, and idly picked up an illustrated book that my maid Hong Yu had brought me. One look, and everything clicked. Oh, so 2 men can also— All these years, Kwai Jing-soon had been cold and distant toward me. I had suspected there was another woman in his heart. I even secretly had people follow him. But for 3 whole months, not a trace of any woman in his life. At that moment, I suddenly realized, maybe I had been looking in the wrong direction from the start. Perhaps the person he liked wasn't a woman at all. Kwai Jing-soon was cold and aloof, rarely close with anyone. The only exception was my imperial brother, with whom he was less like lord and subject and more like the closest of friends. To test my suspicion, first thing the next morning, I went to the palace to visit my imperial sister-in-law. After a careful probe, I confirmed that my brother and sister-in-law were deeply devoted to each other. Kwai Jing-soon's feelings for my brother were entirely unrequited. Before I left, sister-in-law pressed a brocade box into my arms and whispered mysteriously, "Open it when no one's around." I said nothing in reply and handed it straight to Hong Yu. As I walked out of the palace gates, I ran into Kwai Jing-soon. A cold wind swept through. He took off his cloak and draped it over my shoulders. I pulled it off at once and shoved it back into his hands. "Grand Tutor," I said coolly. "Keep it for yourself. You're not getting any younger. Mind you don't catch a chill." He's clearly in love with my brother, yet still insists on playing the devoted husband with me. The more I thought about it, the more furious I got, and I returned to the residence. Later, when I thought to check on sister-in-law's brocade box, Hong Yu looked blank. She had assumed it was a birthday gift for the Grand Tutor, and had already sent it over. That's when I remembered. Today was Kwai Jing-soon's birthday. And my original reason for going to the palace today was to fetch a jade inkstone from the Imperial Treasury, to give to him as a birthday present. But I had gotten so caught up gathering information that I'd completely forgotten. I was just wondering whether to go retrieve it. When I looked up and saw Kwai Jing-soon standing in the doorway, the brocade box cradled in his arms, the tips of his ears faintly flushed, I sensed something was off. I stepped forward cautiously and took the box, opened it. Inside was a stack of erotic illustrations. 36 positions, 72 techniques, like a martial arts manual. The princess's gift? I like it very much. This wasn't meant for you. Hong Yu grabbed the wrong one. If the princess is willing, we could use this to neutralize the toxin. His heart clearly belongs to another man. Right now, he's just forcing himself to humor me, barely keeping his disgust in check. And I'm not willing to go along with it. Grand Tutor need not put himself through such misery. Besides, your secret with my imperial brother, I know all of it. You know everything? Then, do you hate me? Of course I hate him. One glimpse outside the imperial study. From that moment, he filled my every thought. And yet, from beginning to end, he had treated me as nothing but a pawn to hide behind. But seeing the desolation on his face, I couldn't bring myself to do it. I couldn't say the words. From now on, you're not allowed in my room. Men and women must keep their distance. And from that day forward, he began to deliberately avoid me. Even if we crossed paths from afar, he would turn and flee. I was the one who had proposed keeping our distance. But being despised to this degree by someone you've pined over for years, it still stings. At the liveliest little tavern in the capital, my cousin Song Kyung-hwai hesitated, clearly wanting to say something. With women on both arms like this, aren't you afraid the Grand Tutor will be furious when he finds out? Don't mention that killjoy today. We're not leaving until we're drunk. Grand Tutor, please don't misunderstand me. My cousin and I just came here to listen to music. Laughter. Grand Tutor, if you're interested, shall I share one with you? Wei Yan and Song Kwang-hwai went pale. They yanked the 2 women away and bolted. Wei Yan even mouthed to me, "You're on your own." You could hear a pin drop. Watching Kwai Jing-soon's stone-cold expression, I could already predict exactly what lecture was coming. I am a princess. And yet here I am in a pleasure den making merry. What kind of example does that set? But it wasn't what I expected. Kwai Jing-soon simply walked over to me, took off his cloak and wrapped it around me, and brushed a ghost of a kiss against my hair. "Come home with me, princess." In that moment, I couldn't say no. Even the foolish hopes I had worked so hard to suppress came creeping back. When I woke the next day, the sun was already high. Hong Yu's eyes were bright. She recounted in careful detail how Kwai Jing-soon had brewed me a hangover remedy last night, and then kept watch over me until morning. She concluded maybe he does have feelings for me. The warmth faded with the wine. My heart had already settled. He had ruined my chances at a proper marriage. Kwai Jing-soon probably felt guilty about that. So he was trying to make it up to me in small ways, but it would be better if he just let me cut my feelings off entirely, to show him I didn't care. I told Hong Yu to pick out a few handsome male attendants for me. Hong Yu's jaw dropped. Her eyes went round and round. What kind of man does the princess want? Must be tall, fair-skinned, handsome, ideally well-read, not too talkative, and his conduct must not be too frivolous. Your Highness, isn't that just a description of the Grand Tutor? Not the cold wooden kind. After Hong Yu set off, I pushed through my hangover headache and headed to the palace for a banquet. Song Kong-hwai immediately sidled over. He was desperate to know. What did I mean yesterday when I offered to share one with the Grand Tutor? I paused. I was just about to explain. When I looked up and saw Kwai Jing-soon walking shoulder to shoulder with my imperial brother, talking and laughing. A strikingly perfect match. In that moment, I truly let go. Cousin, do you think if I asked to dissolve my marriage to Kwai Jing-soon, would imperial brother agree to it? Cousin, what if you just married me instead? After the wedding, we each live our own lives. That way Auntie won't keep nagging you to get married either. Cousin, I just don't want to marry. I'm not giving up on life. Cousin, don't drag me into this. The marriage comment, obviously a joke, but the divorce, I'm completely serious. I was still in the prime of my youth. I couldn't spend my whole life a widow to a living man. Better to cut ties and find someone truly worthy, rather than drowning in hopes that would never be fulfilled, or keep a few attendants who resembled him, carefree and easy. The banquet ended. Koi Jing-shun had vanished. I dismissed everyone around me, and went to find my imperial brother alone, in the imperial garden. My brother and Koi Jing-shun sat facing each other. Song Kung-hwai has been close with the imperial princess since childhood. Even though she is now married to you, I cannot very well banish Song Kung-hwai to the northern frontier, simply because they exchanged a few words. 3 years of marriage, and Yunji has never once smiled at me. I'm already 6 years older than her. Now she has younger men around her. How could I not be anxious? Yunji must think I'm too old, too rigid and dull, and has fallen for someone else. And she found out about that secret. She must despise me for it. My blood ran cold in an instant. So Jing-shun was jealous. A man as cool and detached as him, capable of feelings this fierce. The voice from behind the rockery rose again. I pricked my ears, listening intently. Then, behind me, a eunuch's greeting rang out suddenly, startling me, and alerting my imperial brother. I had no choice but to step out, making myself look like I'd only just arrived. On the carriage home, Ko Jing-shun, uncharacteristically, spoke first. Did the princess truly not hear anything today? I heard some of it. Such as the grand tutor wanting to be soundly beaten. The moment the words fell, Ko Jing-shun slowly drew out from behind him a smooth-edged ruler, engraved with the characters Shouju and Qingwei. I recognized it at once. It was the very one he had once used to strike my palm. Back then, and to escape copying scriptures, I had trained several people to forge my handwriting. Even the emperor was fooled. But Ko Jing-shun saw through it in one glance. He would strike my palm with the ruler, lightly. One stroke, then one question. Does the princess know her mistake? But now he knelt before me, holding the ruler in both hands, his expression broken and pitiful. Please, strike me, your highness. What are you doing? I'm not that kind of person. Then forgive me. Please? I was at a loss. This wasn't the elegant, composed grand tutor I knew. So the instant the carriage stopped, I stepped over him and leapt out, and ran for the residence as fast as I could. That night as I lay down, I kept replaying his words from the imperial garden, over and over. It didn't feel real. If he liked me, then what was all that coldness these past 3 years? A sleepless night. I decided to go confront Ko Jing-shun for answers. I pushed open the door and stopped cold. In the courtyard, young men dressed as scholars stood in a row, bowing to me in unison. Hong Shu came up with the register, grinning. He had found all of them according to my instructions, personally sourced from the academies. The reason he'd made such a grand production of it was because he knew my whole point was to make the grand tutor jealous. As it turned out, the tactic was highly effective. Behind the crowd, Ko Jing-shun's gaze, dark as still water, settled heavily on me, though his face betrayed nothing. I suddenly wanted to see his reaction. I've been feeling lonely lately. Thought I'd find a few to keep me company. Since the grand tutor is already here, why not help me look them over? Fine. Ko Jing-shun had someone bring a chair, settled into it, and began quizzing the men. Scholarship too poor. Handwriting too ugly. Within less than half an hour, the whole crowd had been reduced to one. I quickly called out to Ko Jing-shun. This one, I find him quite pleasing to look at. Let him stay. Does the grand tutor have anything further to say? Congratulations, your highness, on finding a fine companion. After he left, Hong Shu, who had witnessed every bit of it, walked over. My lady at the grand tutor is jealous. That much was obvious to me too, but I couldn't figure it out. If he's that jealous, why is he still putting up such a front? Something was stuck in my chest and I couldn't shake it. Not long after, my lady and the grand tutor has entered the palace again. He left, and didn't come back the next day. Then on the third day, Imperial Brother sent someone to summon me to the palace. The messenger looked frantic, frightening me into thinking something terrible had happened. I rushed to the side hall, and found my brother with faint shadows beneath his eyes, wearing an exhausted expression, pointing at the figure slumped unconscious on the table. Did you two have a fight? He's been dragging me here to drink with him for 2 days straight, and drinking himself into this state. No, nothing like that. I just had him help me find some companions. Ko Jing-shun is utterly consumed by you, and you had him help you pick out male attendants. Things clicked into place, so what I overheard in the Imperial Garden that day was real. I glanced over at the thoroughly unconscious figure. Something suddenly occurred to me. What exactly was the secret between him and my Imperial brother? On that, my Imperial brother didn't hide it from me. He told me of the negotiations with the Qi Kingdom years ago. Father was gravely ill at the time, afraid my brother wouldn't be able to manage things alone. Father was considering accepting the offer of a marriage alliance, and at the time, the only princess eligible to be sent was me. It was Koi Jing-shun who staked his entire family's honor, and petitioned father for a marriage decree, sparing me from being sent to a foreign land. He kept it from me. It was Ko Jing-shun's choice. He was afraid I'd feel burdened if I knew. He was also afraid that before petitioning for the decree, he had never asked what I wanted. He has not had an easy path. Treat him well. Back home, remembering my brother's words, I felt a complicated mix of emotions, and fed Ko Jing-shun his hangover broth. He suddenly stirred, bleary-eyed, reached out and touched my cheek. Yunzi! I really like you so much. Could you look at me? I woke the next day, well into the afternoon. After finishing my meal, I sat in the courtyard thinking, once Ko Jing-shun finished at court, I would tell him how I felt. Then one from behind me asked a warm, gentle voice. It has been so many days without the princess summoning me. Has she forgotten Yue Kong? Oh, how had I forgotten about him? Your highness, this is the young man you kept that day. I was about to dismiss him when I spotted Kwa Jingshun standing not far away. The moment our eyes met, the light in his eyes went dark almost instantly. I didn't even need to thank him, he had misunderstood. I quickly sent everyone else away. Only then did he step forward and open his mouth carefully. Your Highness, would it be possible to keep him somewhere outside? The reasoning? Admiring a handsome man is human nature. But if the princess keeps them within your residence, rumors damaging to the princess's name may arise. The princess is of the highest standing. Any man who serves the princess must be in good health, of clean background. And if the princess trusts me, I can conduct the initial selection on your behalf. Does the Grand Tutor know what kind of man I like? I like exactly someone like the Grand Tutor. I still have official matters to attend to. If I hadn't already known how he felt, I would have been certain he was unwilling. I instructed Hongshu to quietly send away the one called Yue Kwang, and then let the Grand Tutor know that tonight I would be summoning him to my chambers. Let's see if he could keep up the act after that. Sure enough, Ku Jingshun came faster than I expected. He had changed into a sheer pale robe, tugged the collar loose by half an inch, revealing the little cinnabar mole at his collarbone, and was holding a gold-painted folding fan, leaning against the screen. The whole picture, this effortless, artful charm, had me completely stunned. Today I come to offer myself. I am willing to serve at the princess's feet. If I can satisfy the princess, shall we not divorce? How about it? So that word, a divorce, he had heard it clearly, but to protect what we had, this man, so pure and luminous, was now playing coy just to win me over. All right then. Grand Tutor, please undress yourself.